Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today it's Osereme back here. Today's video is going to be how to draft a bustier pattern, a two bustier. So if you're interested in that, definitely keep on watching the video. So as you can see, I've already cut out a basic bodice pattern with my chest line, bust line, under bust, and then my waistline. And I also went ahead to use my nipple to nipple measurement to cut out my dart. And that's basically all. If you've not seen my tutorial on how to draft a basic bodice, you should probably go and check it out. So the first thing I'm going to do now on this basic bodice is to paste my as you can see, I placed my tape rule in the middle of the point at the bust line, as you can see, and I'm just taking the measurement I have from my bust line down to my under bust line, which is 3 inches. So I'm just marking 3 inches all the way around in a circle, just kind of like the same way you would do this when you are cutting out a corset. But this is not a corset, this is a two bustier. It's very easy. Just try as much as you can to understand what I'm doing. So I decided to stop using the tape and went ahead to use the inches part of my ruler. So I'm just going to still keep on with marking that 3 inches because I just feel this ruler is easier to use. So whatever measurement you have from your bust point down to your under bust is what you use as the radius for the circle. So for you, if you are very busty, it might be 4 inches, it might be 4.5 inches, it might even be 5 inches. For me, it's 3 inches. That's why I'm using 3 inches to mark all the way around. So guys, when you're through taking your circle, the next thing we're going to do is to come up to the shoulder. We're going to take a measurement from our neck down to the end of our shoulder and divide that measurement by 2. When you divide the measurement by 2, you're just going to use a ruler to just connect that point to the bust point. So guys, after connecting it, now I'm going to switch markers so that we understand very well, because now we're going to move on to work on the bustier. So guys, as you can see from the dart at the under bust, I'm marking 1/2 inch on both sides. So you're going to mark 1/2 inch on both sides, and what you're going to do is to use your ruler to join it to the end of the dart at the waistline. So when you have done this, the next thing you're going to do is to use your curved ruler or your free hand to just connect that point at the under bust to the point where the dart ended. Next, you're going to take the measurements you have here. As you can see, I have 1.5 inch, and you're going to come here at the top, and you're going to give 1/2 inch to the part going towards the middle of the dress. As you can see, we are going to give 1/2 inch to this side here, and then we're going to give the 1 inch to this other side, which is towards the side. And what you're going to do is to just use your ruler to connect this to the bust line. Now, to prevent our bustier from having gaping or being too big at the top, we're just going to take about half an inch, that's 1/4 of an inch, away from what we have, as you can see, like this, and I'm just going to connect these new lines to the bust point. Next, we are just going to use a curved rule, or you can still do this with your free hand, to just make a curve to join these 2 points together like this. So guys, the next thing we're going to do now is to get our sweetheart neckline, which is going to be at the middle of our bustier. So for this, you can decide to take your curve from the chest line, or you can decide to go up or below the chest line. So for this particular one, I have decided to come down from my chest line by 1/2 of an inch. So I'm just going to mark that right here. And what I'm going to do is to, from this point here, use my rule to just get a sweetheart neckline. So this is what we have. So now I'm going to work on this other part here. So I'm going to connect this part here to the side. So from this middle of our armhole right here, I'm just going to make a point, and I'm just going to come down by about half an inch because I want my bustier to come a little bit below the armhole. So I just extended my line to the side, and I'm just going to also curve it just like the same way I did on the neck area. But this is not a sweetheart neck, this is just our side. I just curved it to meet the side, and I'm just going to smoothen these points out a little bit because it's not supposed to be pointed. So that's our side. So when we are done with that, we are basically almost done with cutting out this two bustier. So what I'm going to do here now is on this chest line, I am going to mark my bust point divided by 4, like my bust measurement divided by 4, and I marked it. And then the inches I have in between here, which is 2 inches, I'm going to add it back to this point here. So that's that for that point. Then we'll come down to the waistline. So my waist measurement divided by 4, I'm going to mark it, and then we're going to measure that intake here and replace it. Then what I'm going to do is to first of all join these points together, but we know that we're no longer making use of that old armhole, so I'm just going to take it from this new one down to the end. Now that we're done with this, I have not added any stitching allowance, so it's just very easy. I'm just going to add about 1.5 inch of stitching allowance. So let me just extend this point here so that I have enough room for that. Add 1.5 inch, and I marked it here, and I'm also marking that 1.5 inch on the waistline, and I'm just going to join the points together again. So this point right here is my stitching allowance, and that is basically all. So I just marked the end with black, so we know that we are making use of only the part of this drawing that is black. So the red is going to be neglected, so this part here is going to be cut off, this is going to be cut off, and yeah, that's basically all for the front part of this two bustier. So let's cut it out. So guys, this is basically all for the front pattern. So this is what the front pattern look like. You know that when you're cutting the middle of this, you will have to cut it in a fold. So this is the back part of it. I already drafted that basic bodice. If you've not seen that video, you should definitely check it out. It's up on the channel. And for the back, you know, it's going to have zipper allowance, which is this space that I left here. So from the chest line, I went down by 1.5 inch. That's how deeper I wanted my neck to be. And then from this side here, remember that at the front we went down by 1/2 inch, so we're going to go down here by 1/2 inch. We're not going to go deeper than 1/2 inch because the front is already 1/2 inch. If we go deeper, it's not going to be the same. So the next thing I'm going to do is to just use my ruler to try to connect this in a curve like this, and honestly ended up coming out weird. This is not the kind of curve that I'm supposed to use to cut out this neckline, but I think it's best to use your free hand for something like this. So this is the neck part of the back. That's basically all. I already added my sewing allowance to the sides, so I'm just going to extend it to the zipper allowance part and the end of it as well to take note of the zipper allowance. And next I'm just going to cut this out. So guys, these are the two back panels, and you can see the zipper area in the middle part of the back, which is the center back, and then we have the two front panels as well. So what I'm going to do now is to head over to my sewing machine. One thing I did was I went ahead to cut out my front panels on another piece of paper just to explain to you guys what I'm trying to do. So this is our center front. You know, you will always cut your center front in a fold, and I cut the sides as well. So I just went ahead to go over to the sewing machine. This was not necessary, but I just really wanted to show you guys how this will come out. So I just went over to the sewing machine and I'm just stitching it down just the same way you will stitch it on your actual fabric. So we're going to just stitch it down, and I'm just going to share with you how it looks like after I use this pattern. So guys, this is like the finished look. This is a demo of how it will look like when you make a two bustier with this pattern. Thank you so much for watching the video today. I hope you find it helpful. Please try it out and let me know in the comment section how it came out, and I will definitely see you guys in my next video. If you're not subscribed yet, please hit on that subscribe button, support this channel, turn on the notification bell as well, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.